All right, hey everybody, it's Denskill here. Hope you're having a good day. It is a Monday night, and we just had a nice weekend of weather. If you're watching this on replay, it was a middle weekend, sort of in April, and it was nice yesterday, and it was this time of year, I guess. So anyway, glad to see you folks, and thanks for joining tonight. If you're new to the channel, this is the Densko Music live stream. This episode is all about one in a series of videos that I'm putting out called Gear Journeys, and this is a live stream based on gear journeys and a particular gear journey that I'm on, and we'll get to that in a little bit. Um, First off, I guess it's new pedal day here. Oh, hey, thanks, Quentin. Yeah, video does kind of suck. I have to pay for the upgraded version of StreamYard to get like the better resolution. Let me see here. I don't know if I just wiped off or wiped on more schmutz on the camera there, but yeah, we'll see. But yeah, like I was saying, it's new pedals day here at Densko Music. I'm right in the middle of a rebuild and well, two rebuilds. A major rebuild for my big board, for my main board, and I also added something to my wet effects board. Uh, First thing I picked up was actually, sorry, for my big board. I'm putting an EQ pedal on it. This is the EQ2 from Source Audio. It's a programmable EQ, pretty fancy schmancy. It's got MIDI. I'm not using MIDI for it. Um, but it's the thing I like about it is that it's got a tuner built in, so I'm going to be using that. It's also got a noise reduction circuit built in it too, so it cuts down some of the noise. So this is going to go after my gain stages, and that board is currently under construction. The next fancy toy that I got was this one here, and that's the Chase Bliss Blooper. I just picked this up today. I'm just trying it out right now. I already have a looper on my all wet fancy board. I have a Ditto Plus looper on there, which is good. But this thing is looping to the next level, and I like layering loops on top of loops. So, and I'm also not using MIDI for this thing. These Chase Bliss pedals, I don't know if you guys have ever seen them, but I think it was HP 42 today. Henning was saying this is like a little keyboard for mice, which I thought was a pretty funny description of these dip switches here. Um, so yeah, I've got to explore what this pedal does. I've already tooled around a little bit with it, and it's quite amazing. It's got two different six different modulations that you can set up on it for your loops. And anyway, I may or may not do. I don't like doing pedal reviews. I don't think I've done one yet on my channel. I'm probably not going to do one because, man, they're a pain, and although they tend to do quite well. Who knows? Anyway, so yeah, that's that. In other Densko music news, my band Retrophase is still rehearsing, and we're accepting bookings up in the fall time. Right by then, we should be hopefully good and ready, and we're it's not like we're playing shows beforehand and we're booked up, but I think it's the way I figure with everyone's schedules and what we're trying to accomplish and getting all our marketing together. I think by fall we'll be ready for a full on launch. Hey, Gussie Wells is here. Hey, what's up, Gussie? So also in Retrophase news, we're going to be taking on a second guitar player and a singer there. My background vocals are kind of, crap, let's say. Yeah, and I'm doing a lot of lead guitar work and playing sometimes two guitar parts at the same time. So we needed someone that can hold down a little bit of rhythm guitar, and we and some harmony vocals too, and that sound good. Someone that's used to holding up vocals and playing just some simple guitar parts. So we're holding auditions. we've begun our star search, and it's going to be this weekend. We're auditioning three different individuals, and oh yeah, yeah. Gussie's just sending me a message here, and I'll just put this up here. Thanks, Gussie, for that update. So our brother in arms, our good friend and drummer, Bobby Lopes is thankfully doing better now. He's still weak but improving, which is great. Gussie, thanks for the update, and I'll pass that on to my bro. Um, yeah, our good brother Bobby's been sick. He's got the COVID, and Bobby's had some other health issues. So, it's unfortunately did a number on him. So, thoughts and prayers where everyone's pulling for you, Bobby. Hope you're doing good and getting back onto the drums and in good health and fine order when you're good and healthy, brother. Um, yeah, where the heck was I? Oh yeah, retro phase. Yeah, so we're holding auditions for three different individuals this weekend. Hopefully, one of the three wins our Canada's Got Talent competition. We've got a fourth possibly lined up. Who knows? We'll see how that works out. Holding auditions and setting up auditions is always kind of a funny thing when you're in bands. It's you do a lot of filtering, we'll call it, as you go through different folks' auditions and submissions and things like that. So luckily, we've combed three out that are going to show up and hopefully make the grade. Well, at least one of them. I have. It's not that I have low expectations or high expectations. I just have zero. Like we'll see. What come is what will come. So retro phase powers on. Please follow us on YouTube and like us on Facebook and all that jazz. Um, Speaking of retro phases, yeah, so I'm really itching to play live. That's kind of what it comes down to. Fall seems like a long time away, but by the time all is said and done, and we get our set and our lineup ready, and our all like I said, our marketing site and all that stuff going. None of that has anything to do with playing guitar. Unfortunately, that's the reality of being in a band. Is a lot of times you're just doing everything else but playing guitar. There's a lot of interneting and a lot of promotional stuff and a lot of babysitting and coaching to the guys and you have to kind of especially if you're running the band like myself, you kind of juggling a couple different priorities and things, and you're always looking for opportunities to make life easier for everybody and make it keep it fun, right? So with that, switching gears a little bit, but keeping on that kind of topic, getting to play live is what we're talking about, and I've been seeing a lot of YouTube and internet palaver about and my brother Guitar Hack has been having this issue too. It's places that now that they're opening up, a lot of them are adopting a no stage volume or a no volume type of setup, which I haven't played a gig yet since the pandemic, and I'm dying for it. But I'm thinking to myself, what the fudge? Like, I've got these amps, I've got these pedals, I'm going to use them. I need to have that sort of central focus. Um, yeah, Gussie saying a band sounds like too much work. It sure is, bud. Hey, and Lars Guitars is here too. Hey, buddy. Um, so yeah, if I've experimented with like plugging right into PA systems before, and it's weird. I find it very disorienting. Like I'm used to having like sort of a central focus or a point where basically our sound is projecting or coming from, like creating a sound field, like centralized, where I can kind of stick my head in and out of it in a way, a very directional sound stream. PA, it's kind of you're surrounded by it and it's going everywhere, and I don't quite get the feedback. Like there's definitely a physical interaction, like between a guitar's pickups and the amplifier. So when you're feeling that, that's where you get that feedback and all that. If I ain't getting that, I ain't getting it. Like it's gonna affect the way I play and my tone. But a lot of places are asking people to turn right the hell down, and it's disappointing because you're not your amps are gonna sound better when they're turned up. You have to keep up with the drums. All you hear is drums and vocals, that kind of sucks. Um, you know, a little volume is okay. Too. I agree, not blasting it, but like you got to be at a minimum. You got to keep up with the drummer, right? So there's a lot of folks switching to a couple different, there's a bunch of different devices out there, but I see a lot of popularity with I think it's the Walrus Audio ACS1, which is a cab amp and cab simulator, and the Strymon Iridium is one of those things too. I have not futzed around with those devices. Um, I have not messed with them. Quentin has a great comment here. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it says it all right there, brother. There's got to be some sort of feedback loop between the amp and the player. I don't know if I could ever go with a ampless rig. I realize it might be there might come a day when I have to, but hopefully I can run kind of both. Have a little bit of on stage volume, so at least I get that feeling. And still have it come through the PA where it's controllable by a sound man or, at an overall level. But yeah, man, I really need that feedback. Those two devices that I haven't tried either of them, the Iridium or the ACS1. Apparently, you get like a couple different amp and cab simulations in both. I'm more familiar with the Stratum. My buddy Jamie's got one, and it's basically I think it's got 3 different amps, like a Marshall, Fender, and a Vox type, and a couple different speaker cabinet IRs on it. You can get a bunch of different ones. Um, I guess it's got a great no 4x12. I don't play. Just kidding. But those types of volumes is ridiculous. Yeah, I'm getting old with my hearing kind of starting to go a little bit. I've noticed. I do kind of like the feeling of pants flapping in the wind. When you're standing near a speaker, but the the ear damage is coming back, and having your ears ring for 3 days or forever is like is a drawback. So I'm not a big fan of I've never used in ears before. um I kind of I'm used to the directionality of sound and the way it spreads, especially like when you hear like real drums, and you can depending on some of these venues, you're crammed in so close together. You could feel the wind of off the cymbals coming off you, right? You Quentin's got a funny comment here. Even in smaller clubs, I still use a two 4x12 cabs, just don't plug in the bottom cab. Yeah, appearances can be appealing too, right? I when I start gigging with Retrophase, I'm going to use one of two setups probably. I've got I don't know if you can see behind me there, right over there. There's a Mesa Boogie California Tweed combo. That's got 40 watts. That's enough to that's more than enough volume, and it comes in a convenient combo. So and that thing sounds great. Obviously, being California Tweed 6v6 based, it's very Fendery. It's a Fender. It's just Boogie's version on that, kind of with the characteristics of a Tweed with really nice breakup when you push it, and the gain control. The gain sounds really nice. The other one, which is sitting up right on top of it, is Mesa Boogie Mark 5 25. That's 25 watts. That's the head, and I've got you can't really see it, but beside my Sir is a 2x12 recto verb cabinet from Mesa Boogie. So 212s will give sort of the bigness and I think Jack Black said that, "Witness the bigness." I don't know. Anyway, the spread, like the stereo spray of a 2 by 12 cab is something that I really enjoy. So that will project out and will hit an audience, and it's only 25 watts, which I still think going through 2 by 12 that'll have plenty enough dBs for what I'm doing. Plus, it looks cool as hell, you know. You gotta rock, like, when you're on stage, gotta rock the rock. Um, so yeah, let me know what you guys think. I don't think that it doesn't sound to me like playing through IRs and through silent systems is a really popular option for guitar players that are used to playing through amps. But there are some people that have only played that way, like that's their whole life. Like a lot of people have never experienced tube amps or solid state amps and moved air in other than through studio monitors. So that's a whole new reality as well, right? Let's see here. Gussy's got a quick question. Do I have any info on Orange Proprietary Designs PPC? I don't. I have the Orange PPC 212 vertical cabinet. Um, that's just a stock model that they made. Orange does have a bunch of different cabinets, and they do have a. What I do know is they have a custom shop, which, if you're prepared to give up some organs or one of your children, I'm sure they can build any specific proprietary cabinets. I guess to maybe I would say that from a proprietary design point, like this 212 is probably a proprietary design. This vertical cab, it's actually pretty light. I just don't want to carry. It's too nice a cab, and that orange amp that I have is just too nice for me to lug around to gigs. It was really expensive, and I want to leave it at home. And it sounds amazing, but it's not as divert. Like it's very orangey sounding. So if it's maybe at best a trick and a half pony. So it just doesn't have the widespread and the versatility that the California Tweed or the Mark 525 have. But yeah, I guess, sir, I don't know if I answered your question, bud. Yeah, brother. Yeah, it's the weight. Yeah, I think they just use really light pine cabinetry and really light. They're neo creamback speakers in there, so neodymium, which to my understanding is just supposed to be a lighter material for speakers, and they also make pickups in it. There's neodymium. I hope I'm saying that right. Neodymium pickups in my Ernie Ball Stingray bass as well. So yeah, we live in a golden age. Oh boy, I don't know if I should be drinking coffee this late, but why the heck not? I'm gonna be playing, doing some guitar playing and fiddling around with these here new pedals. So um, yeah, Quentin's two boogie road ready cabs. Oh my god, yeah. What do they say? Lift with your legs. It's too late when it already happens. I had sciatic back issues for years too, and lifting and bending over was just hell. They There was nothing that could be done for me in terms of surgery and stuff like that. So I just kind of I don't know if you guys have ever experienced sciatic issues, but it's terrible torture. Um, I was playing gigs too, and I had to get my buddies to carry my shit, which I felt terrible for because I mean, I wasn't like ha. It was more like I was just like, limping over to the gig kind of thing. That was back in the 90s days. But yeah, you can seriously injure yourself lifting heavy cabinets and stuff. The orange cab's pretty light. The Mason cab's actually not too bad either. Considering the head's so light and tiny and teeny tiny, it's kind of a trade off. Um, yeah, so yeah, a lot of my musician friends get back issues from lugging gear actually, and just from just from stupid work shit too, and stupid shit that happens. You can, easily tweak your back or, flare up a nerve, and boy, it gets torturous. That's for sure. I wouldn't wish it on anyone. So so yeah, I'm looking forward to live gigs again, but I'm kind of dreading the the idea of being told to, turn it down constantly. Um yeah, I've got low power options there with my amps, but it sucks. Like if I play louder at home, then what's the point of gigging, right? Like, I've had to play some quiet gigs in the past too, and like, to the point where our drummer was using like bamboo swizzle sticks because there's like not a lot of space between the audience and the band, right? So people are sitting right in front of the drum kit basically, and the singer blasting at them. Like I was surprised my singer wasn't spitting into their food. Like, that's just the nature of some places. Like what I used to find, and what I hear from a lot of my buddies is like a lot of places, like now that they're opening up and there's like a zest for gigs and for bands, they're not any more well set up to have bands in terms of sound or stage. So a lot of places want to have live music and bring that energy back, which is fantastic. I'm all for it. But some places just they weren't suited for gigs before, or they were and they tried, or they weren't. Like they weren't and they just didn't care, or they weren't and they tried and they made themselves more suitable for gigs, or they closed down. We lost in Burlington here, Boston Manor. That place shut down, and that was a big venue for music here in Burlington. But some places just haven't made any effort to make it easier for bands to play in, and probably making it a little harder in some ways by asking them to play quiet and quiet. Um, Quentin's got a freaky story. Quentin's second back injury was running from a drive-by shooting, but he does live in Kentucky. That is crazy, brother. I'm glad you survived, my man. um, yeah, so these quiet gigs, it's like it just doesn't sound appealing, and like it. I guess for certain kinds of music, it might be okay, but like I'm kind of used to the old days where the band gets kicking around 9:30 and plays till one, and the later it gets, the louder and funner and funkier it gets. Like I guess I'm spoiled, or maybe those days are gone. I don't know, but the other, I guess, we'll shifting gears a little bit too. The other challenge with going to those ampless rigs is you would have to buy something like a Line 6 Iridium, the Walrus Audio ACS1. People use the HX Stomp as well, from what I hear. Gussie saying back in the day here. That's great to hear. Last time I saw a really great band in Niagara Falls there, Gussie. They were fantastic. They played a whole bunch of different covers, and it was they lit up the night. But yeah, so people using things like the HX Stomp as well, because it's got cab sims and stuff like IRs built in it, impulse responses for those that don't know. So it means dollar investment, like learning and investing in a bunch of new tech, figuring out how to use it, like investing the time and the energy. And it makes things more complicated. Like, where do I put this thing? Do I have to put this little box now, another little box on my pedal board? Like, can I put it on top of my amp? Can I have an amp? Can I play? I'd like some more, please. um you know I don't want to have to deal with some more gear and extra crap. Quentin's got a comment here. Last live rig was a 50-watt tube head with a TS9 Crybaby and an old Yamaha SPX 90 for one delay setting. That's a nice simple rig, brother. Yeah, so like going ampless, like kind of complicates things. It's another piece of gear that you have to buy, haul, and figure out how to plug in. A lot of guys favor the smaller, simpler rigs, like Quentin there just mentioned. Like having the least amount of gear, which is I think the 5-watt world tagline. Um, and getting the most out of it. I'm an idiot. I'm buying pedals and getting more complicated, and that's what we'll get into for the next bit of the live stream here. Um, but the idea is basically having the crap that you need in front of you is the crap that you're going to use. No more, no less. Fancy or not fancy, like it should all kind of hopefully work. And hopefully through an amp. Lars is using here. Let's show that comment. Lars is using a Helix with a power cap. That is a sweet setup. Hope you find using it easy there, Lars. Lars Guitars. I've tooled around with a Helix once. It was pretty incredible. Quentin went from a 12 space rack with a MIDI controller to the tube head. Yep, nice and simple. 12 space rack. That is nuts. But I mean, you got all your bases covered with something like that. Um, so yeah, speaking of MIDI, so my rig setup is going to change. I don't know if you guys have been seeing my posts on Facebook, but I did a layout of what my new board is going to look like. Let me just get my iPad here. Maybe I can show you guys here. I don't know how to make it show up on the screen, but give me one sec. So there's this app for iOS I use called it's for Pedal Train. It's called the Pedal Train Pedal Board Planner. It comes for iOS. Sorry, the screen's kind of funky here. Anyway, what it does is it lets you pick all these different boards. You can basically pick your pedal train board, and then it's got a whole bunch of pedals in its database, and you can rig up a theoretical pedal board, which I found has been very handy. So I'm just going to show you guys real quick here. I'm not going to demo the app because they don't need my promotion. And that's the wrong board. Technology. There we go. So I don't know. Let's see if I can get it to show up here. Anyway, that's what it's going to look like in the end. All right, here. So mine is actually in white, but for the Pedal Train app, they just have a black version here. But anyway, it goes. There's where the E. That's where the E. Oh, hold on. That's where the EQ2 pedal is going to go over there. Yeah, that didn't show up very well, did it? Oh well. Yeah. So I'm going MIDI. That's a little MIDI controller. DMC Micro Pro is what I'm using to basically control four different devices on that board. I'm going to be controlling my GFI system synesthesia. That's hard to say. Eventide H9, Empress Echo System, and Alexander Pedals Space Ranger for reverb. So that way I'll be able to beam patches and commands and turn send kill dry, kill them all at once. Why it's such a pain in the ass is, well, it's because um I hate like I hate tap dancing. I hate like if I have to turn on delay in a chorus and a reverb or turn them all off at once. I want to use a MIDI. Like I want the sound of pedals. So I used to have an HX effects, and I just didn't like the sound of it and the responsiveness. So I prefer pedals, but I really liked the controllability and functionality of the multi effects. So the best of both worlds is you got to learn how to use MIDI and how to implement it and get your head around it and buy all the crap associated with it. And I guess here beginneth the rant on MIDI. And kind of what it does, especially when you have gear acquisition syndrome like me, because it's MIDI becomes a slippery slope, depending on how far down that rabbit hole you want to go. And my number one bit of advice from what I've learned from it, I don't have my board rigged up yet, but I've learned what I need to do about it, and how to get everything programmed and get it all set up. So that board is being built by my buddy Jamie at 32pedalboards.com, which I will repeat, by the way, all of my boards in this channel is powered by 32pedalboards.com. Please check out that website if you're looking for a professional pedal board setups, cabling, wiring, all of that cool stuff. Jamie's done all of my boards and does an amazing job. Shout out to Jamie at 32pedalboards.com. Plug, plug. So I'm going MIDI because I want the functionality of hitting patches. I don't want to step around. It it gets crazy, and what I've learned so far in my journey, like my number one thing is stay the hell away from MIDI if you can. If you could avoid it, keep your playing as simple as possible. Um, Quentin is saying I have issues. I did take my medication today, so I should be okay. Uh, so stay away from MIDI if you don't need it. MIDI is fantastic. It's amazing, and I'm looking forward to using it and getting it all set up and getting the functionality going. It really isn't that hard to get into, folks. If you know, if you can rig up a home theater, you can probably rig up MIDI. It's all about setting the devices, getting a controller and setting it to send out on different channels. It's different commands on different channels. Having your individual devices set up for those channels, and just then configuring each device, then configuring a bunch of presets and commands. So it's not hard. It's like once you get your head around what you're trying to do, well, that's really it. What was Quentin saying? Yeah, MIDI is easy. It's just on off yes no messages. Yeah, man, it's not bad. Like in terms of understanding what it is and what you can do with it. The biggest challenge is figuring out if you bloody well need it or not. I think, like, and if you want the features and flexibility. Probably a good 99% of guitar players and my buddies that I know that play are going completely simple mini pedal board, maybe not even a pedal, like maybe a tuner, if that. A lot of guys, the vast majority of my buddies and players that I know prefer going either straight in or with, no more than like 3, 4 pedals, drive maybe and some modulation and some delay, you know, your typical basic food groups, because that's all they need. That's all they want. That's all they're using, right? For if you're playing certain styles, that covers all your bases, man. You're good to go, and that's awesome. Um, my Abega board, my flagship, which is nicknamed Big Tex. That's my number one superstar board. I use that for. Well, I will be using it for retro phase, so for covers, playing sets of 30, 40 songs a night, all different sounds, all different things. So I want patches. I want to be able to shut things off and on with couple simple clicks. I want to be able to send top tempo out, so my delays and everything else go kind of together. I want a kill dry switch. So if I just turned on 2 or 3 things, or if I'm just messing around and I want to kill them all at once, bang, one button press. Um, Gussie's saying 2 pedals and an amp is enough for him, but he does love pedals. I love them too. I mean, the tone shaping possibilities are incredible. My next I know it's been a minute since I posted a video, so I'm just doing this live stream to tide my huge audience over. But I do have a video coming out that is focusing on a super secret pedal project that I've been working on. Well, I guess it's not a secret if I told you it's about pedals, But I've got a really cool long form video coming out, hopefully soon, that goes deep into pedals, pedal board obsessions, and things like that. And it'll be another in this series of the gear journeys. Um, so yeah, so MIDI. I mean, I'm looking forward to using it. Like I said, the biggest challenge at first was figuring out what I wanted it for, like what I was going to use it for. I had, 4 MIDI capable pedals that were on my board. I didn't want to do the tap dancing. Having cool presets, like if I get a bunch of pedals set together and I want to take a snapshot of that, all that, and have that as a preset, I can do it. So that's super convenient with MIDI. But if you're not doing that stuff, who cares, right? Like you don't need it. And like I said, most of my buddies and friends have absolutely no need for it, and some of them are kind of turned off by it, I'd say. Which yeah, I mean, that's like the old what do they call those? The Luddites, the people that would throw the looms because they hated and wreck the looms because they hated the new weaving technology. It was taking away their work. The Luddites. Yeah, there's an obscure reference for you today. Hey, who says this channel isn't educational? All right. Um, Quentin's got a question here. Has my brother mentioned bridge position humbuckers to you yet? He's not happy with the humbucker in his new Strat. My brother has indeed, and for those that don't know, my brother is Guitar Hack, who's a famous internet celebrity and legend. Um, he has talked to me about the bridge humbucker there on his Strat. Um, I I offered him a bunch of pickups. He didn't seem to be interested. I think he's looking for one that has sort of a direct fit, which might be hard because Fenders use I think just like one screw on the top part of the humbucker. So let me grab a guitar here. So in my experience, let's pretend this is a Strat. Uh, there's Gibson humbuckers will have a screw here and a screw here, a screw. If I can see what I'm doing, a screw here and a screw here, to bolt them out directly into the body. Whereas Strats have just one screw here, kind of like this one, that bolts right into the pick guard. So you might be looking at. I have experience with. Oh, geez, there we go. Can't stretch as far as I used to. Um, I have experience with putting a Lindy Fralin unbucker into the bridge position of my Fender American Strat that I used to have, and yeah, I had to drill a hole right through. So sorry, I think I might have that backwards. It might be that the Fenders have the 2 feet and the Gibsons only have one. Anyway, I had to drill into the pick guard to get the pickup mounted in. So, and I had to route out the pickup hole cavity to make it bigger. So a direct drop pickup replacement, I think you could probably pretty much get away with any type of humbucker. Um, yeah, Quentin saying that the JB, yeah, you guys talked him into a JB. The JB has 3 on each tab, so that makes it easy to mount onto a Strat body. Um, Whatever pickup it would be, I would think is gonna have to be uncovered because I think the reason I had to route out my pick guard was because the with the cover on it, it was just a little too wide and a little too long to fit in that slot. So JB Trumbucker, yeah, I had for a week I had a Charvel, a San Dimas in slime green that had a JB in the bridge. I'm not sure if it was a Trumbucker or not. That was a pretty sick guitar. It had a Floyd Rose on it. I took it back just because it was hideous. I thought I wanted a really ugly guitar, and then when I got it home, I'm like, hell no, this guitar is just too ugly. Like I was, people looked at me like I had 3 heads. And I've owned some weird guitars before, but this one was just over the top. So yeah, I'd love to know what you guys think about MIDI. Or if you guys ever used it, ever had experience with it. I think it's probably growing in popularity among hardcores. Like some of my uh like I got a couple buddies that are kind of in step with me as far as trudging down the road of MIDI and ever evolving technology with guitar stuff. Um, but towards stuff we need again, I as far as I want to go with IRs and things like that is where I've gone, and that's pretty much if I want to record silently, I'll use my aux, and that's about as high tech I want to get when it comes to that stuff. But in terms of pedals, um, there's really no like we haven't lived in a better time in terms of new pedals, and you got pedals that can create other pedals like the Empress Zoya. If you guys have ever never heard of that pedal or checked it out, it's bloody terrifying, what you can do with that pedal. I have one on my all wet board, and you no joke, it's worth taking courses on it just to learn how it works. It actually allows you to create other effects, like you can create your own flanges and all that stuff. Again, it's like way above most people's needs and desires to get into that stuff. You really got to be into modular synthesis. But I don't particularly have a problem with using learning new types of technology if it helps me with getting some cool sounds. And the super secret pedal project video that I have coming out is going to be an opportunity for me to use a lot of these pedals, and these sort of crazier ones that I have, because there will be a little bit of an element of a soundtrack going with it too. So I'm going to compose some original music for part of this video, which is going to be cool. I've never done that before, so I want to get my rig all tidied up and ready so that I can use it to its fullest for this little film score, we'll call it. You know, I hope you guys end up checking it out. Anyway, I think that's getting close to about all I got. I would I would love to hear you guys' thoughts and reactions in the comments there about using MIDI. Are you scaling up your rig? Are you scaling down? Um, volume or sorry, onstage volume issues aside, I know a lot of guys, as we all get older, like we were talking about back injuries, a lot of people just naturally scale down their rigs and go down to tinier amps, or go to the whole ampless, noiseless stage setup anyway, organically. It may be the way of the future, and I don't like it, but that's like yelling at the clouds. Like, who knows, right? I'm really happy playing my amps, and I'm gonna do my best to keep them showing up on the future stages that I hope to play on. So anyway, folks, with that, I hope everyone's doing really great and staying sane in these crazy times. I'm gonna go mess around with some pedals and finish my coffee here. Probably not a good idea to drink coffee this late, but I've got pedals to play with. So I hope you guys are doing well. Take care. Thanks for tuning in and watching, folks. Have a great day. Night.